TF2 is no stranger for being known as one of the most fun and insane movement shooter games. And people such as myself absolutely love it for these consistently seen things. But what about the things in TF2 that you can't see? It isn't uncommon to see a video game put in a bunch of small secrets in their game's environments that are usually either meant to be found to complete an objective or just something small out of bounds. But the thing about TF2 specifically is that the game is driven by its community. Community fixes, community maps, and even community updates. And with all this community content being streamed into the game throughout the years, it has slowly made TF2 become a game with more secrets than you can find almost anywhere else, ranging from just crediting map makers to an entire complex series of secrets that unravel the story or the true meaning behind a particular map. The secrets that I will be mentioning are going to be divided kind of like a TF2 iceberg, but since there's like a million different kinds of iceberg videos out there, let's make it look a little bit different. There we go. First, let's talk about some of the secrets that Valve themselves were involved with, since those are usually the ones that everyone knows about. On the map's Foundry behind the Red Team's initial spawn and Doomsday behind Blue Team's spawn, Valve had placed these two oddly stiff individuals and hidden rooms behind them which were hinting at the Man vs. Machine update that at the time of these being implemented wasn't released yet. Inside, you'll see hung up photographs of the robot versions to Heavy, Demoman, and Pyro, while this particular blue room also has a map hinting at now existing MVM maps, such as Death Pit, which is now called Coal Town, Cactus Valley, which is now Decoy, and Manworks. I guess they ended up liking that name. Moving on through some other extremely well-known TF2 secrets, sometimes there's this spy on Big Rock that can be heard screaming while flying across the cave with a minecart. It's also very rare to play on Pier without someone on the blue team sneaking into this no-collision vent that leads to a secret disco room. Though, is it really that secret if my entire team is in here? Many of the spawn room windows on Thunder Mountain feature a few easily visible secrets as well, like the red team having a swim in this massive and somewhat eerie pool room. Something not as many people know about Thunder Mountain is the sniper with his own campsite on the second point in the final area. You can similarly also find Sniper out of bounds just up here on Mountain Lab, though I don't know about you, but something about him seems a little bit different. Oh hey, look at that, Soldier's here too! Now, as I said previously, most of this video sheds light towards TF2's community map makers that tend to follow similar trends with each other, like for example rooms entirely to give credit to those who made the map. Sometimes these simply take form of a hidden signature or logo belonging to a community member, and in some instances there are even maps that feature entire rooms out of bounds, like Selbian, which is home to this yellow building that inside is an actual lounge for the seal, or on the first point of Sulfur behind this giant metal door. Is that a deer? As we continue to look further into TF2's slightly deeper and less known secrets, there is another common trend within the game's community that makes itself much more obvious, and that is the map maker's huge fascination with artificial animals. The wooden deer cutout is one example. I mean, they're all over the place on some maps like Reckoner, and also Sunshine hidden in some rooms visible in the playable area. Another commonly hidden animal is the Two-Fort Frog, which is very well known for being in the Two-Fort game files, but not actually in Two-Fort. But you can find them on some official maps too, like Nucleus VSH, or in various different parts of Dynamite. This one even has a chef hat. Two-Fort also has a wooden cutout of a cow that's on a bunch of maps, and you can actually find it on Two-Fort. But with all these different examples, some of you might be asking, why are there so many different kinds of fake animals in TF2? Well, some people theorize they exist to better blend the idea that most TF2 maps are supposed to be secret high-tech bases disguised as other things, like a farm. But other people instead think it's because Manco CEO Saxton Hale could have canonically wiped every cow in existence. There are a select few maps though with real animals in them, like Applejack, which if you take a second to really look into specific parts of the map, you'll find there are fully animated chickens in every corner. Besides the animals, Vanguard has these two seemingly important vaults on either side of the map, but when you actually look at what's inside them, you instead find nothing but a banana peel. Monster Bash is also pretty misleading, as you can find out abounds what looks like a giant mob of people riding from behind a the gate, where really it's just a bunch of wooden spy cutouts gathered around. Now let me ask you a question. Have you ever seen this old geezer label around some buildings and maps before? Well, as some of you may know, there is a map called Brew that was recently added, and is completely based on it. And when Blue captures the final point on the map, there's actually this door that opens near the enemy spawn. Oh my, what the old geezer is that? Spoiler alert for that Valve full-time job whatever simulator they made. It turns out this is just meant to be a reference to the gigantic metal cave Johnson head you meet at the end of the game. There are also some maps that feature rooms to store custom assets, like Blaze Hatton, which far outside the map has an area holding the hands and other models used in the zombie infection game mode. Then Crasher has this metal box under the floor with the custom icons it uses stored in it. And also, yeah, there's that too. Let's take a look at two secrets in particular, which both actually for once give a bit of context to what the motives of the red and blue team are on that map. One of them is the player destruction map Snowville, where the goal is to kill enemies and deliver the presents they drop to this robot-powered sleigh that occasionally comes down. But if you look into this room in each spawn, you can actually see what both teams are filling the presents that they drop with. I guess the blue team is representing the nice side with wrapping a bunch of stock weapons in theirs, while the red team is just wrapping a bunch of coal. 2 Fort Invasion has 2 similar rooms where you can see what both teams are doing with the alien technology they found from the whole theme of the map. Red seems to be building lasers and other futuristic machines, while Blue is taking a completely different path and creating some kind of scientific bioweapon. Again, pretty fascinating to actually see a bit of story through these secrets. Moving on though, on Camber there is a non-collision vent you can climb into similar to the one from Pier that brings you to a really weird room with a scarecrow holding a chainsaw being surrounded by cutouts of different classes. Carrier's red spawn has a janitor's closet at the end of this hallway, with a similarly horrific view from inside. I don't know how, but it seems this frog was involved in the murder of a sniper. Laughter is one of the best Halloween-only maps, with tons of details and numerous different secrets that you can find. There's a decommissioned animatronic out of bounds that when hit actually plays voice lines from the robot Demo Man. And there's even another interactable secret at either resupply cabinet, where there is a small chance that when using it— oh, it's a skeleton! Shark Bay is another map with tons of different secrets. First, there is this set of 2 bathrooms. In the men's room are stalls, with one of them containing the 2 Fort Frog once again. Then the, gentleman's room, I guess, actually has nothing but a cow wearing a set of headphones. Another secret which I've actually featured on this channel before is the unique shark attack sign, which has a number that actually increases for every time a player happens to fall into these shark-infested waters. And it's not just you being attacked by sharks either. Oh, and then there's another frog. And then there is Odyssey, which has a room behind Red's final spawn, with a spy staring into a computer map of the world. And a really cool detail is this pin placed directly on top of where France is located. The intel room, which is the 4th and final section, is meant to represent TF2's most in-depth secrets, to the point you actually have to complete lists of comprehensive steps just to uncover it. Unless you're a cheater, of course. Graveyard has this bridge outside the map, has a van parked on top of it, and a spy wearing what's famously known as the Observer loadout, which was a very strange TF2 trend, where a bunch of people were found wearing these exact hats, stalking people during games. Graveyard's bridge, though, features another much more complex secret, which involves 8 hidden skulls that you have to find and destroy around the map. What you're currently watching is a quick glimpse of me going around finding all of these skulls, but if you wanted to do this yourself, here are actual written descriptions of where you can find each skull, and there's a few very helpful guides you can find, like the one that I provided in the description below. Once you destroy all of them and look back at that bridge, you'll actually see a bunch of skeletons and Halloween bosses spawn in, doing a bunch of different dances. What's even crazier is Bonesaw has an identical secret like this, where once again you're looking for 8 hidden skulls. And once again, here is a written description of where to find them. This time, however, finding all of the 8 skulls completely changes the surrounding environment by adding these giant custom pumpkins you can see around the map. Halloween maps, though, aren't the only place you can find these kinds of searching puzzles. Rumford has its own, where there are these 4 deers outside the map that you can actually destroy. The first one can be found directly after leaving Blue Spawn and is pretty easy to hit. The next one is slightly a bit further underneath this tower in the side area near the first point. There's a deer hiding at this pile of wood chips behind this scout cutout and another frog. And the last one is all the way in the side room next to the final point behind these transformers, which you might need an explosive class to to jump over the fence and actually hit it. Once you do that, a door right next to the first point will open, revealing probably the strangest of the murder scene secrets so far. But just make sure you don't touch the chainsaw. Hardwood spawn room hides these tiny ladders you can break, with some of them being very easy to find, while others might need an explosive class to hit because heavy ain't jumping up there. The reward for doing this though is definitely the weirdest, since it magically gives your entire team the ability to climb the 2 regular sized ladders in the spawn room. Now before concluding this section though, this video wouldn't be complete without mentioning one of the most popular and most comprehensive secrets in the entirety of the game. And this is the secret of Marasmus's television. Now Marasmus's television is pretty well known for 2 things. The first being that it's so well hidden that Valve actually awards you an achievement and hats for completing the secret, and the other is it's pretty much the only reason people still play Pastime. The first step of the Brickyard secret is to have a player stand in front of this guitar near the red part of the map, which will open up a secret white goal on the blue side. If a player tosses the jack into the white goal, it will open a door in both team spawns with a teleporter that will bring them to the secret TV room. When you reach this point, you can shoot a plug, and then you need to bring your attention to these 9 little spots located across the floor. Now this is where it gets weird, because from here you need to place this very specific assortment of classes between both teams on each of these spots, but if you do it correctly, boom, there's the achievement and there's your new hats. But how exactly did the TF2 community even figure out what classes needed to be where and what team they needed to be on? Well, in the game's audio files, there are 3 files in particular called TV1, 2, and 3. In the TV1 file, if you turn the audio from it into something called a spectrogram, which basically turns the audio frequencies into an image of the TV, and 9 symbols that matches the location of the 9 spots on the floor. Take a look at how each of these shapes look. The shapes that are rounded and have no pointed edges on them are meant to represent the class on the blue team, while shapes that do have pointed edges are meant to be the red team. And then the amount of outer sides that each shape has is equal to the number that represents a specific class. For example, this shape right here that looks like 3 small flowers has no pointed edges and has 9 total outer sides, meaning it is a blue spy who is TF2's 9th class. And when you put them all together, you get the exact assortment of classes needed to complete TF2's most comprehensive secret room. But did you find this video's secret? Alright, enough of that. That, though, is every secret that I will be covering in this video. Now, of course, there are so many more secrets that I didn't cover, because if I did cover all of them, not only would this video be hours long, but it also kind of takes away the enjoyment of finding those secrets for yourself. If there are other secrets that you know of and I didn't cover in this video, or if there were any in this video that I mentioned that you didn't know about, I am actually really fascinated, so let me know in the comments below. But other than that, thank you for all the recent support. I really do appreciate it. And I will see you all in the next silly little video I make. Bye-bye.